My name is Daniela Brooks, and I never expected a simple trip to the farmer's market with my son and grandmother to become a national headline. But some days choose you, and on that day, justice knocked louder than fear. It was a warm Saturday morning in Charleston, South Carolina, the kind where the sunlight filters through the magnolia trees, and the air smells like salt and sweet tea. My grandma, Miss Loretta, was pushing my 2-year-old son, Caleb, in his stroller. She wore her favorite church hat, navy blue with a white ribbon, and walked with the same poise she did in the 1960s when she marched with Dr. King. We were headed to the Gullah Roots Market, where she bought fresh okra and peaches from the same family for decades. The street was crowded, families and vendors all chatting and laughing. That's when everything changed. Cue tension music, slow build. As we passed a sleek black Mercedes double-parked in front of a boutique, a tall, sharply dressed man in a gray suit stepped out. He had that corporate-look Bluetooth in his ear, $1,000 watch, sunglasses that probably cost more than rent. He looked impatient, like the world was always too slow for him. Grandma gently tapped the front of the car with her cane, not hard, just a tap to motion that it was blocking the sidewalk. Caleb giggled. We were just about to pass when the man stormed toward us. "Watch where you're going, old woman," he barked. I turned. "Excuse me." Then, in a moment that still replays in my head like a nightmare, he raised his hand and slapped her. Cue gasp. Background goes silent. It wasn't a nudge. It wasn't an accidental brush. He slapped her, open-palmed, across the face. Miss Loretta stumbled backward, hit the stroller with her heel, and Caleb tipped over. The stroller rolled, tilted sideways, and my baby screamed as he hit the pavement. Time froze. I stood paralyzed for half a second before instincts kicked in. I dropped my basket and rushed to Caleb. Scooping him up, his blood trickled from a scrape on his forehead. He cried, his small fists clenching my shirt, while I turned toward the man. "You touched my grandma." The man, still smug, sneered. "She hit my car. That's assault." That was when the crowd began to stir. People pulled out their phones. An older black man stepped between us and shouted, "She's bleeding, and your car's illegally parked. Don't twist the truth." That man was Raymond Foster, a Vietnam vet and local pastor, who recognized Miss Loretta immediately. She used to cook for the church every Sunday. Raymond turned to me and whispered, "Don't raise your hands." We got witnesses. Cue voiceover narration, images of protests and community reaction. The man's name was Graham Delaney, CEO of a tech startup called New Form Solutions. Turns out he was in town for a diversity leadership summit. The irony didn't go unnoticed. The video of the slap went viral in under 6 hours. News outlets ran with the story. White CEO slaps elderly black woman. Toddler injured in fall. Social media exploded. Some called it assault. Others said it was racism. A few tried to defend him, claiming stress, mental health, or provocation. But what no one could deny was the footage. Miss Loretta's frail body reeling, my toddler tumbling, and a powerful man standing smug and unbothered. Within 48 hours, thousands marched through Charleston, holding signs that said "Justice for Miss Loretta" and "Hands off our elders." Grandma, bruised but defiant, stood on the courthouse steps and told reporters, "I didn't survive Jim Crow just to be slapped on a Saturday." Cue soft music, image of Miss Loretta in her hospital bed with Caleb. Caleb's injuries were minor, thank God, but Grandma, she had a fractured cheekbone and a bruised spirit. And yet, she never once asked for revenge. "I just want him to understand," she told me one night. "Understand what it means to see someone as human." Graham Delaney was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. New Form's board voted him out. He released a statement, carefully crafted, about how this incident doesn't reflect who I am. But it was too late. Cue hopeful music. The community rallied. Funds poured in for Caleb's education. Local artists painted a mural of Miss Loretta on King Street with the words, "Grace is stronger than hate." And me? I found my voice. I spoke at rallies, led youth talks on accountability, and even started a foundation with Grandma called Bridge the Gap, aimed at addressing systemic racism and elder protection. Because here's the truth. The slap wasn't just about skin or age or class. It was about power. Who gets to use it, who gets to abuse it, and who finally says enough. Closing scene. Miss Loretta sitting on a bench with Caleb in her lap, both smiling under the Charleston sun. Moral of the story? Sometimes the loudest change comes from the softest voices. And sometimes the fall that breaks your heart is the one that wakes up the world.